What are the tools, what are the weapons we have to stop diabetes in its tracks and drive it back out of our lives? In this video, you'll find out. In the video I posted last week, I shared an interview I did with Kenneth Woolard, who had unbelievably high blood sugar and managed to get it down to normal levels. Ken had an A1C of over 14, which is far higher than most diabetics, and yet his latest A1C score was 5.0, which for a man in his 60s is nearly perfect. If you haven't seen that interview, I'd encourage you to watch that video before viewing this one. There's a link at the top of the screen and also in the description notes to take you to that interview. If you have not yet seen his amazing story, Ken had a fasting blood sugar of 375 and daytime blood sugar that would sometimes go over 500. In today's video, I want to revisit that interview and pull out a few of what I consider the most significant statements by Ken and give a brief commentary about why I think he was so incredibly successful in bringing his blood sugar down from dangerously high levels to beautifully normal ones. Let's get started. Ken's process of overcoming runaway blood sugar was a gradual one, and it involved a number of years. The first baby step he took was a result of reading a simple statement that didn't fix everything for him, but it started him off in the right direction.
Full advice, and I'd like to share one thing that he said that I remembered most definitely. He said, If you eat breakfast cereal, limit it to twice a week. But if you want to do the right thing, eliminate it all completely.
Eating cereal for breakfast was a big problem for me in my early days. There probably isn't a bigger lover of cereal in the whole country than me. I absolutely hated the idea of giving up cereal, and in fact I didn't for a long time. I experimented with the lowest carb cereals I could find on the grocery store shelves, and ended up eating small little bowls with peanuts for a long time simply because I still wanted at least a taste of cereal in my mouth at breakfast. It's only been recently when I discovered chia seed pudding/cereal, which enabled me to give up regular cereal because it tastes sort of like cereal and I fill it with several types of nuts, which I also love. The truth is, there simply are not a lot of options for cereal lovers. Try the chia seed cereal if you want to call it that, but for most of us, we really do need to absolutely forsake regular breakfast cereal, and that includes bran flakes as well as Fruit Loops. If you want good blood sugar control, say adios to traditional breakfast cereal. Another step Ken took that brought him closer to his goal was starting to eat a lot of low-carb vegetables.
I'm type O, and if you look at the O blood type food list, all those vegetables and things that he lists on there are like low glycemic foods, like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, artichokes, asparagus, things like that are good for you.
Low-carb vegetables, now I'm not talking about potatoes and corn, mind you, but things like broccoli, cauliflower, green peppers, spinach, lettuce, cucumbers, and so forth, are pure gold to the diabetic. We can eat them in salads, we can eat them by themselves, and they provide wonderful nutrition and very few carbs for us to have to deal with. When Ken discovered the power of low-carb, low-glycemic vegetables, he took a major step forward. One of the most powerful discoveries Ken made, which was the exact same experience I had, was that we should allow our blood sugar monitors to help us determine which foods are safe and which are dangerous for us.
Well, I was watching one thing that got me. I read this book by this medical doctor. I ordered another book offline. And it was like $40, and I forget the name of the guy's book. But anyway, one of the pieces of advice he said was live by the glucose monitor. So I recognized foods that would jack up blood sugar. When you live by the glucose meter, you don't eat stuff that jacks your blood sugar up. Right. And of course, your blood sugar comes down, your weight comes down.
This is so powerful, and it has helped so many people. Many diabetics are missing out on the power and motivation of their meters because they only test themselves in the morning before they eat. That test is good. It does give us a report card about how we're doing, but it sheds no light at all about which foods and which meals we should emphasize in our diet. It's only when you start testing yourself about an hour to an hour and a half after your meals that the light will come on and you'll start realizing what various foods are doing to you and which ones you need to make your go-to meals. And people that test themselves this way will nearly always gravitate toward a low-carb diet. Why is that? Because their meter, regardless of which meter they use, will always reveal that high-carb meals drive blood sugar high, and low-carb meals keep it low. I know that's simple. It's not rocket science, but it is one of the most powerful things you can ever do to beat diabetes. One scrawny little blood sugar meter is more powerful than reading a dozen books on diabetes or watching 500 YouTube videos on diabetes. Books and videos can point you to the right direction, mind you, although not all do that. But your blood sugar meter will give you the knowledge and the motivation to do what you have to do. One of the most powerful things Ken's story demonstrates is the effectiveness of a ketogenic diet for people with severe diabetes.
Well, one thing I found out was about the ketogenic diet. I understood the physics of it. And you're eating high fat, moderate protein, and very low carb.
Let me admit something. I've never been on a true ketogenic diet. Why? I've never had to. I found that simply by cutting my carbs significantly, I could get my blood sugar down to the normal range. But a keto diet is typically eating 20 grams or less of carbs per day, and I've never gone that low. But then I've never had an A1C of 14 either. I'm moving in the direction of keto these days, but I don't have the urgency Ken did because I don't have the need. But if I had extremely high blood sugar the way Ken once did, you can bet I'd go keto in a heartbeat. My philosophy is this: you do what you have to do to get your blood sugar levels down, close to normal. But I'm not looking to make sacrifices that aren't strictly necessary for me. I don't have a martyr complex, and if I can keep my blood sugar close to normal without cutting my carbs lower than 20 grams per day, I'm not so motivated to slash them any further than I already do. But I applaud Ken. He needed to bring out the big guns to conquer his problem, and he did, and he got wonderful results. You don't need an elephant gun to kill a mouse. But on the other hand, you wouldn't try to kill an elephant with a BB gun. You do what you have to do. A keto diet is an elephant gun in the world of diabetes, and Ken used it effectively. In fact, Ken used 2 elephant guns. The first was the keto diet, and the second was something he called OMAD.
Right. You know, one thing I started doing, and I liked it, and I've really grown to love it, is just OMAD, 1 meal a day.
Eating 1 meal a day is pretty radical, especially when that becomes your normal routine, but it can be highly effective in combating diabetes. It's becoming more and more popular, and it is one of the tools of the approach known as IF, in other words, intermittent fasting. Dr. Jason Fung has had remarkable results with this in treating his diabetic patients, and I don't have any doubt that it can be a major weapon in our struggle with diabetes. It doesn't always have to involve 1 meal a day. Many people will do 2 meals a day, but they'll compress them within about 6 hours so that they give their bodies 18 hours each day for their pancreas to rest and their insulin levels to drop down low. Once again, Ken went for the elephant gun, and he got the results he was looking for. Had Ken seen most doctors with his A1C of 14 and his fasting blood sugar of 375, they would have probably never thought he had a chance to have normal blood sugar for the rest of his life. But Ken does have normal blood sugar now, and today he takes no medication at all. No insulin, no medicine. He does it all mainly by his diet. Wow, what more can I say? If Ken could lower his blood sugar that dramatically, I think there's a pretty fair chance for you to do it as well.